Hello everyone, welcome to the channel for Everything Arsenal and welcome to a special transfer video with the legend himself, Lee Judges. Before I let him say hi to you guys, we'll be discussing Ceballos. Obviously Ceballos is supposed to leave Arsenal at the end of the season. We'll be talking about him, we'll be talking about Luiz potentially, not potentially, but obviously leaving Arsenal at the end of the summer, and Willian, and obviously Martin Ødegaard. Which ones will stay, which ones would you keep? Which ones are leaving? So we'll be covering all that with the legend himself, Lee Judges. How are you?
Oh, good, thank you, Glenn. How's things with you, all right?
Yeah, I am very good. A good end to the season, 4 league wins in a row. It's good to carry it over to next season. So I think I'm happier than I was 2 weeks ago. I'll definitely say that.
Yeah, well, definitely, like, you know, even though we've picked up those 4 wins, it's still not it's still bittersweet, as I say, like, you know. So still disappointed that we're not looking forward to next Wednesday, really. But there you go. It sort of sums up our season, really.
This is actually the first time in a while, like in 2014, we were looking to something ahead, something at the end of the season. 2015, 2017 FA Cup, 2018 as well, Carabao Cup, 2019 Europa League. We always look forward to a final every single season.
Yeah.
I think this is the first time in a long while that you haven't looked forward to a final. But anyway, that's done. Now, what did you make of the game yesterday?
I thought we was fantastic first half. I wouldn't say we was wasteful, but we just lacked that little cutting edge up front a little bit in the first half. But I thought we played some wonderful stuff. Fantastic goal, I've got to say that. You know, not like a spectacular goal, but I think one of the goals of the season from our point of view because of the build up to it, the little back heel and the cross. Everything about the goal was fantastic. The movement, the interchange, the cross, the finish. Yeah, so that was very, very pleasing. The other side of Arsenal, you know, reared its ugly head with the second half performance. I thought it was back to where we were. Very, very disappointed. But, you know, Mikel Arteta, I've said it and I'll say it again, he's a very, very lucky manager because he made the changes and they worked for him. Simple as that. You know, Martinelli scored it. Ødegaard got the assist, which was a fantastic pass, by the way. Absolutely, I didn't really appreciate that at the time, but I watched it again on Match of the Day later on at night, and fantastic pass. And you know, and Pepe finished it off probably a little bit unfairly to be a 3-1 win, but listen, we'll take that. Yeah. And when you look at it, it's a good away win. Crystal Palace, not an easy place to go to, so I take it. You know, 4 wins, as you say, on the spin. The first time we've done that under Mikel Arteta. So, you know, a little bit under, no pressure really on these games, I suppose. But, you know, something to play for on Sunday, Glenn. You know, a chance to get above Spurs and a chance to get 7th in the league, which 3 or 4 weeks ago you would have said was totally unrealistic. But there's an opportunity for us to do that.
Yeah, another good away victory, as you said. Like, we've picked up wins away at Chelsea, away at United, away at Leicester. Those 3 teams by themselves, we don't even win at their place at all. We never win.
No.
So those 3 wins, Olympiacos away this season, the game yesterday, very, very good away wins. So I'll definitely take that. That's probably one of the few positives we have this season. Alongside, we actually have the 3rd best defensive record in the league, by the way. For anyone who doesn't know, we've considered the only teams that have considered less than us are Chelsea and City. So I'll definitely take that, and a good record against the big teams. So that's for yesterday's game. Let's get into the main topic for today, Lee. So the first player we're going to talk about is David Luiz. Now, of course, it's been confirmed that he will be leaving at the end of the season. 2 years at Arsenal. I'd say his 2nd season was better than the first one. Definitely the first one, he broke all the wrong records. I think he's been better this season. So what have you made of the news that he's been leaving? Are you happy with that, or would you have kept him?
Do you know what? I think that maybe they must have a central defender lined up. And now I know we've got Saliba on our books, but we need someone with a little bit more experience as far as I'm concerned. And I think that I would have kept him for another year for that experience, but perhaps they've looked at it and thought with the wages, etc., it wasn't probably the right thing to do. Listen, I think he's done okay for us, and I think it was the game against City when he got sent off. He come on, and you know, it was an absolute disaster. But he really returned some top performances in towards the back end of last season. Was particularly in the cup final. Thought he was brilliant. and he's done okay. But listen, I think when you look back at David Luiz, I don't think you'd be saying that it's been a bad signing and it's been a disaster. I think it's been quite successful for the 2 years that he's been here. And you know, I think he's got a good lot of experience. He's helped out the players coming along. And, you know, I wish him good luck for whatever he does. As I say, I've got no problems with him leaving. I wouldn't have had no problems if he was staying, if I'll be honest. So, all in all, I don't think he's been a miss as far as signing's concerned. Has he been a hit? I wouldn't go as far as that, but he's been an okay signing for us.
If you're to rate him out of 10 for the 2 years, what did you give him?
7 out of 10. I think that there's been some good things and some bad things. And I'll be honest. I think, and I think if he'd have played in the semi-final and been fit for it, I think we'd have beat Villarreal. I think that he was missed in that game more than what anybody thought he was. So very, very good passing range, and unfortunately, you know, the injuries picked up means that he's not going to be playing no more. But I don't think he's been a bad signing for us, I have to say.
To be honest, I thought he was done after that City game you've mentioned. I thought he was definitely done. Like the way he got spun by Mahrez, pulled him back, decision making was wrong in that game, gave away a penalty. Like that was one of the worst performances I've ever seen. Also broke the record after that game. So you say he's done some good things. What are the good things you'd say? Because for me personally, I'd say the best moment, the one thing I'd remember him for is that one of the penalties in the Community Shield when we beat Liverpool. He had a very good penalty that day. I remember you all expected him to miss, and then he came up with a very good penalty. What did you remember about him at Arsenal?
That was great. And I just, you know, when it mattered in top games, the big games, I thought he played really well. You know, the FA Cup final and the semi-final against Manchester City was absolutely outstanding in that game. So, you know, he played his part in us winning the FA Cup. And listen, you know, he's come to Arsenal 2 years and he's won a trophy. You know, he's won trophies wherever he's gone. So I can see why people dislike him, because you can get at him and whatever, and he is prone to the odd mistake. But there's also some good things that he done, and I think he was a good leader for us. And listen, we've lacked leaders for a while, and he's come in there and done an okay job for us. And you know, as I say, there's been some good things and some bad things. You know, I remember him getting sent off at Chelsea, which I thought was a bit harsh. You know, to go back to Chelsea and get sent off when Mustafi put it into him, and also the sending off at Wolves this season, very, very harsh. You know, so he's had some difficult, I think, some tough decisions as well go against him. So, but all in all, no, I'm going to say that he's done okay for us. Done okay.
Again, I picked up 2 points you said there. One of them is helping the young players coming up. Like, this is one of the most important things as well, like helping the likes of Martinelli, the likes of Saka. Gabriel, I think Gabriel has performed well alongside him. Gabriel has looked poor alongside someone like a Holding. I think he's looked better with Luiz. And also you've mentioned the leadership. Now, Bamford played against him a couple of weeks ago when we played Leeds, and he actually quoted and said that Luiz actually picked him up when he fouled Luiz. Luiz actually picked him up. And he talked about, oh, it's okay, we are brothers, it's okay, we are both at Chelsea, it's okay, forgive you for fouling me. And then after a couple of minutes, he actually fouled him and almost killed him on the pitch. So the coach actually said, I kicked David Luiz on the ankle accidental, and I was like, sorry, bro. And he said, don't worry, it's fine. He was chatting to me like a brother. The next time I got the ball, he absolutely battered me and trampled me. Now, is that one thing we lack at Arsenal? Because I don't think we have those kind of players like David Luiz, like a Diego Costa. Do you think he also brought that grit and some fight? Don't just pick up everyone you foul, play the game. This is our opponent, let's fight.
100%. And I like that. I like that little, sometimes you need that little bit of skullduggery in your team, a little bit of nastiness, you know, and I don't think we've got enough of that in our team. You know, you can criticise David Luiz, you can probably criticise Granit Xhaka for that, but they're two of the players that you don't take liberties with, and I like that in players. So you know, and that's a lovely quote, that, by the way, isn't it? Like, you know, So, and I think that he had the respect of all the players at Arsenal. And if you get the respect of players, you must be doing something right, David. You know, so David Luiz must have been doing something right there, like, you know. So for me, I've got no problems with him there. So I honestly think that if we don't sign nobody next season, we're missing Glenn. We're missing. But I think that for them to actually let him off. Or let him go, should I say? I think that they must have somebody in line.
Yeah,
I would hope so.
That was going to be the final question. Will you remember him after 5 years as an Arsenal player? Will you remember David Luiz?
Yeah, I will do, because of the FA Cup. You know, when you look back at that FA Cup against Chelsea, you will. Yeah. He was a prominent figure in the win. So definitely, 100%, yeah.
Awesome. So that is David Luiz. I'd actually give him maybe a 6 as a rating, but I'd actually miss him. I think he did well for us this season, and we definitely missed him against Villarreal. But the second player, his fellow Brazilian, I'm not sure we'll be missing this guy. We'll be talking about Willian now. Willian, I'll be honest, when we signed Willian, oh my goodness, I was actually okay with it. I was actually like, you know what, he got double-figure goals last season, double figures in assists. He can't be that bad. Like, he can do the job for us for 1 year, 2 years, free. Maybe the money was too much per week, the salary was too much, but I was like, he'll definitely be okay for us. He can definitely help us with at least maybe 10 assists in the season. Surprisingly, he's still our top assister this season, but it hasn't worked out for him, Lee. So what was your feeling when we signed Willian? Were you okay with it? Did you like?
Well, I could see the pluses on it, to be honest, and I thought that, you know, he would give us something different, a bit of experience, and it just hasn't worked out, Glenn. Just hasn't worked out, and I don't think that's any fault of his. It's just one of those things that's just not happened. You know, it's not for the want of trying. I don't think. It's just unfortunate that it hasn't worked out. You know, got fantastic goal. In the free kick, was it against West Brom a couple of weeks ago? Didn't matter.
Yeah,
he's had a few free kicks when it did matter, and it didn't happen. And it's just one of those signings that, you know, I think that if I'll be honest, you're going to have to look back and just say, okay, well, it just didn't work out, and probably for his sake as well, he'll be looking to want to play on a regular basis. So I think that ultimately he'll want to move as well. So just dust ourselves down from this one, Glenn, and just move on. I think that's what we'll have to do.
What do you think went wrong at Arsenal? Do you think it's because he was too comfortable, he just wanted to stay in England, and he lost all the motivation because he's won it all at Chelsea? Or do you think it's because he joined a team that wasn't doing that well and he became that as well?
I think, yeah, I don't think it was. I think it's probably a little bit of that. The style of play that Arsenal play wasn't there for him for whatever reason. And sometimes, Glenn, when you go into a new club, you need things to click for you straight away. When you come on, score a goal or something happens for you, or create a chance. You know, we've all been there, and sometimes you can go and play for a club and it just works out straight away, and then other times you struggle. It's just one of those things. I wouldn't put myself on one thing that's not happened. I just think it's loads of things, and unfortunately, it's just not worked out. And you know, listen, he's been a great player for Chelsea, and he was fantastic at times. You know, I remember. Well, I think it was even last year against Spurs when he played for Chelsea, scoring a couple of one fantastic goal, scored a penalty, but you know, was absolutely brilliant. And you're thinking, well, if he's going to bring that to the table, then fantastic. But it never quite worked. So, and it never really happened from day one, if I'll be honest. Had a good first game against Fulham, but you know, that game there, he needed to score and then move on, but it just didn't happen, and it just got worse and worse. And what made it worse and worse was that the manager kept picking him and instead of leaving him out. And so I don't think the manager done him any favours neither.
Yeah, after that first game that you've mentioned against Fulham, I never thought it would have been this bad. In terms of fantasy assists, he got 3 assists, but actual Premier League assists, he had 2 in that game. But I was like, he was very, very brilliant in that game. He's still, as I said, he has the most assists for Arsenal this season, more than Saka, more than Smith Rowe, but it just hasn't worked out. I think we also need to, like, do you think you can get any money for him? From like 10 million or something?
I'll be very surprised. We'll be very, very surprised. We got him for nothing. I think that if we was to get $1 million, 2 million, get his wages back or something like that, maybe, you know, that would be a good thing. But I can't see it being no more than that, really, to be honest.
Okay, so for Willian, out of 10 in an Arsenal shirt, what would you give him?
2.
So yeah, there's a time he actually, Alisson has same goals as him right now, so we basically would have just stayed without him. So no impact at all at Arsenal. I don't think we'll remember him as an Arsenal player at all. No. So it's been terrible. GK actually says -1, like it's been that bad, like -1.
Yeah, he did score. He done sometimes he come on as a sub and done okay, but you know, to give him a -1 is very harsh.
Yeah, -1 is very harsh, but yeah, I think it hasn't worked out for him. Surprising for me, because I was one of those guys who were kind of happy that he had joined us from Chelsea. I was like, we're going to actually show them that he's a good player, but no, they actually laughed at us when he got him, and they were right. Unfortunately, Chelsea fans are right. So those are the first 2 players we've talked about. So Lee has given Luiz a 7 in an Arsenal shirt, and Willian just a 2, unfortunately. So those are the 2 players that are definitely going to leave. We're now going to go to the 2 players that we're not sure whether they're going to be here next season or they're not going to be here next season. The Real Madrid boys, Martin Ødegaard and DANI Ceballos. So first up, obviously, we're going to talk about DANI Ceballos. So let's go to the first season first, Lee. What rating had you given him in the first season? And did you want him to come back after last season?
100%. 8 out of 10 in the first season. I thought it didn't start off. He started off great, if you remember right. Had a fantastic game against Burnley, then got injured but then come back. He then come back at the after the break and was absolutely fantastic. Fantastic in the FA Cup final, semi-final. The goal against Sheffield United, I think, was the quarter-final. I think he come on that day and scored, and it was brilliant. It was brilliant towards the end of the last season. Liverpool game, I remember having a good game. And I thought, well, you know, we've got to get this player. And then to get him back on loan again, I thought was a fantastic bit of business. And I really did feel that he was going to kick on this season. But for some unknown reason, it just hasn't happened. I don't know why, whether he needs to have better players around him. And I think that's something that may have to look at. I think that the players around him in the midfield are not quite up to the standard. But ultimately, he's just not been the same player. Just not been the same player this season. You can't say that. And I really honestly thought that he was going to be the real deal for us. I really did it last season. I thought we'd found a player. And as you say, like if you'd have said to me last season 15 million, I'd have put your hand off for it and said, yeah, definitely get it done. But I'm not so sure now, if I'll be honest, to be honest. I think we need to upgrade in the midfield area all the way. I don't really see him being a player that is going to get us to the top 4 or beyond, you know. So for me, it's a no. And I say that with a heavy heart because I thought last season, you know, he was fantastic. But a year in football's massive, Glenn, you know, and it just hasn't. Again, he's just not been. Why? Listen, you can turn around and say that about most of the players at Arsenal this season. Just not been at it. But when you're looking to get a new career and a move, you need to be at your very, very best. You look at Joe Willock at Newcastle. He's gone there and done really, really well. That's what DANI Ceballos had to do this season. Now, there's a double-edged sword to that. If DANI Ceballos had played really, really well this season, it might have upped the transfer bid to where we couldn't have got him. And we will have missed out on him as well. So I don't know if he's played that bad so that we get him cheaper. I don't know, but it's just not worked out. And I even if they said, look, you can have him for another year on loan, I don't think I'd go down that route neither. Yeah,
I think he's one of the main reasons we won the FA Cup last season. That game you've mentioned, that goal against Sheffield. Sheffield had just scored an 88th minute equalizer. They were upping the tempo, and he got a crucial goal for us as a sub. So he's one of the main reasons we won the FA Cup last season. So after last season, I was thinking, obviously, El Neni hadn't come back. We hadn't signed Partey yet. Torreira had a shock. I remember Aston Villa away last season when he kept Aston Villa up, Torreira was terrible in that game. Guendouzi wasn't that good, and he had obviously had that issue against Brighton. So we literally had Xhaka only remaining at that time. So I was like, we have to get Ceballos to help him out in that position. And he was actually a good player that time, but it hasn't worked out. I'll tell you one reason. One goal in the Europa League in 2 years. He's actually not scored a goal in the Premier League 2 seasons.
Unbelievable. And he's a good passer of the ball.
Yeah.
Yeah, very
right.
Like some of his passing is breathtaking. I remember a goal that we scored last season when he put the ball out to, cut the defence in. I can't remember who it was against now. Bellerin played it, was on the right back, put it across, and we scored. It was fantastic. He had an eye for a pass. It's just been hit and miss this season. He'd do some really, really good things, and then he'd do some really, really bad things. So for me, it's let's move on to someone else.
Yeah, and then you compare that to someone like Smith Rowe who came in December. Smith Rowe has been in the team for 5 months. Ceballos has been in the team for 2 years. I know they don't play in the actual same position, but there's not much of a difference. It's still in the middle of the park. And this guy has more goals and assists than Ceballos has had in 2 seasons combined. That just shows you. And that's one problem we definitely need to sort out. Ceballos, 0 goals. Partey, 0 goals. Guendouzi, 0 goals. Torreira, 1 goal against Tottenham. He never gets any goals from midfield, so we need to sort it out. So you wouldn't pay 50 million for him. How about 10, let's say?
Listen, I probably would say 10 million. If you got, say, Basuma in and you got another 2 or 3 players else in, you could have him as a squad player. But I'm not so sure. I don't know. I just don't think Glenny's done enough to warrant a place in the side. You know what I mean? If they said he was for free, then I'd take a punt on him. But I think that if we're going to spend 10, 15 million on him, I'd rather spend 10, 15 million on a Basuma or a Jack Grealish or someone like that, than spend that money. That's my opinion. So
that Sheffield goal is what you'll remember him for, mostly?
Yes, I will remember that for it, and his fantastic performance against Burnley. And again, the FA Cup semi-final and final, he was outstanding. I thought he was man of the match probably in the final. So was it? Oh no, not the final, semi-final.
The final against City. So, how about the negatives? What is the one thing you'll remember him for doing wrong at Arsenal? There's been a lot this season, mistakes, the red card.
The own goal, not the own goal, the back header in the cup, and also the sending off as well. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, listen, I've got nothing against Danny. I think that he's done okay for us, but he's just not been quite good enough over the 2-year period. You know what I mean? It's done well in the first, but listen, we don't need squad players. We need players that are going to take us to the next level. And unfortunately, Danny's not that player.
Okay. David says, hi David, Ceballos is not good enough even as a squad player.
I'm not going to argue with David.
GK says, for Madrid to loan 2 of their players should tell you something. Does that actually usually say something to you when a team sends someone out on loan or sells them, or do you think that just shows maybe they don't fit in that team and they could be good in other teams? How do you look at it when someone loans out a player?
I always look at it that because one manager doesn't rate you, doesn't mean to say that another don't. And because you're not playing at one team, it doesn't mean to say you can't be a success at another. Football is about opinions. Sometimes you've got to be lucky to be in it, certainly where it goes. Prime example of this was Andy Cole good enough to be a Premier League footballer? The answer is that yes. But the timing at Arsenal wasn't great, you know what I mean? So, so no, I disagree with that. There's always opportunities. Sometimes you get them at one club and not another, and timing is a key. And that doesn't necessarily mean that they're not good players, And we'll have to wait and see what's going to happen with Martin. But no, I don't agree with that.
Okay, so let's go to the final player, his Real Madrid colleague, Martin Ødegaard. Now, I'd say it's the first part of his Arsenal career, the first 3 months, 2 months, it was incredible. But the last 2 months is kind of like drifted away like Arsenal season. So were you excited when you signed him? Did you know anything about him?
I've obviously heard about him, but I hadn't really seen a lot of him. And when he first came into the side, I think he done really well when he first came into the side. Actually, he done really well till he got injured on international duty for Norway. Yeah. He's not been the same player since. So I'm not going to really judge him on what's gone on in the last few. He come on a sub on Wednesday and didn't do a great deal, and then wow, you know, an unbelievable pass for the goal. So there seems to be a player there. I think if we could, and is to get another loan for another season and then try and buy him and see how it goes after another year. I also think it's very, very difficult to judge a player when there's been no crowd. You know what I mean? What's he like with the crowd behind him and things like that? So I think it's very, very harsh to start judging players like on that. But for me, I like what I see at times, but unfortunately, the injury has sort of dampened his performances. So it's very, very difficult to say, right, say if they turn around Real Madrid and say he's worth 40 million. Now, let's be honest about it. Real Madrid are struggling financially and they need to sell players. So probably Ødegaard is actually going to be up for grabs. But whether it's going to be 40 million, I don't know if Arsenal should be paying 40 million.
Yeah, I think that could be Real Madrid sending a message and telling you the price. Let us know how much they're saying. So Martin Ødegaard, obviously, he joined us in January. So in January, till me, that's like 4 months of Premier League. He actually joined in February, basically at the end of January, this transfer window. So do you think you can judge him within the 4 months? Because someone like Bruno Fernandes came in January and had the impact right away in the 4 months. But someone like Luis Suarez, when he joined Liverpool in January, he had to wait till the next season to have an impact. So do you think the 4 months is enough? Or do you think it would have been better if he joined at the end of the season and left in January, let's say?
I don't think it's been enough to make a decision on it. Again, I'm going to say this now. If they say 40 million, I'd rather go and put 40 million, sell Willock and maybe Maitland Niles and buy somebody like a Jack Grealish or someone like that. That's what I would do. But if we can't get those sort of players, then I would say that maybe a loan deal another year, if we could get that. I think that would be ideal. You know, I don't think we can be like gambling 30, 40 million pound on a player at this moment in time. We're not in that position to do. Unless the owner's going to throw a load of money at it and say, look, I'm giving you like 200-300 million, then you can say, right, well, we'll take a punt on him. But if we're looking to buy players and we're looking at a budget, then I'm reluctant to say 30-40 million for him, because realistically I haven't seen enough, and that's me being truthful, Glenn. If I'll be honest, I've not seen enough.
Yeah, unfortunately, and I hope if we sign him, he doesn't end up like Ceballos, because he came back to the second round.
Well, exactly. You know, we don't want our fingers burnt, do we?
Yeah, and he's been very good in some games. West Ham away, the three goal comeback. Yeah.
Listen, I think it would have been interesting to see if he hadn't got that injury, what would have happened. Because you know, we missed him in the Europa League. He wasn't fit, so you know, unfortunately, he picks up this injury, and I think that has hampered his season. You know, and so much so that he's on the bench at this moment in time. So. It's a difficult one. It's a difficult one. I do like him, though. I'm going to be really honest. When I've seen him play, I've really liked him. You know, and that sort of pass that got us the goal yesterday, we didn't have that before he came and before Christmas. So that's why we struggled. We'd have drawn that game. You know, now all of a sudden we've got a little bit of guile and a little bit of creativity that can open teams up. So from that point of view, fantastic. So jury out.
When you say bring him back, do you mean as a first choice number 10, or would you still play Smith Rowe in that position?
Well, I don't think Smith Rowe's ready for that yet. If I'll be honest, I think Smith Rowe is a bit more of a little bit more to do and all that. Like, we've got to get somebody in that role, whether it be Jack Grealish, Ødegaard. We have got to get someone in there. Let's be honest, Glenn. This is whoever they get. It's got to be top notch, and that means it's not going to be cheap. So you know, you're going to have to be paying, I think, a lot more than 30-40 million pound for someone like that to play that role. And unfortunately, the players that you're looking at to play that role are double that amount. So if you're looking for a cheaper option, then, you know, you go with Ødegaard, I suppose. But if you want to go for, you know, show your real intent, you look at someone like a Maddison, a Grealish, somebody of that ilk. And now they're costing you a lot of money.
Dream. I actually usually put Ward Prowse in that list as well. I think he's very good in terms of set pieces and the drive forward from midfield, left side, right side. But can we get any of those players? I don't think so. So for Ødegaard, what has been your best moment, his best moment in a national shirt for you?
When he scored against Spurs.
Easy. I knew that was going to be easy. Definitely. That goal, especially cancelling out that Lamela goal.
Yeah.
For us, if we lost that game, it would have been embarrassing.
Yeah, and he played really well that game as well. People forget about that. You know, they always talk about the West Ham game. He was playing really well before that injury, as I said. But I will remember that the goal against Spurs, and also you know, yesterday's pass was quality as well. So you know, he's got ability. He's got ability.
Yeah. Okay. So thank you for that. We'll take a couple of questions from the chat. Early on, David had asked positions that require strengthening and which 3 signings would make us stronger. So which 3 positions would you try and sort out first this transfer window?
100% we need a right back. That'd be the first thing I do. We need more than 3, because I think if we do lose Ødegaard and we do lose Ceballos, we also losing Guendouzi and we're losing Torreira as well. We need to really vamp up the midfield. So
Willock maybe as well.
Say that, sorry?
Willock maybe as well, Joe Willock. Like we're literally losing the entire midfield.
Yeah. So we need to bring in more than 3, really. I think we need. But if we're going to bring in any, so if we get a right back as one signing, then we're going to need to bring in 2 midfield players, at least 2 midfield players.
So you would keep Aubameyang and Lacazette for next season?
Good question.
Personally, I would. Personally, I don't want to sell them. Personally, I don't think Aubameyang and Lacazette.
I think at this moment in time, we need to address other areas. I think if we can address those areas, get in players that can create, I think that Ødegaard, someone that can create, whether it be Ødegaard or whatever, get in some players that can dominate midfield, get us, you know, like getting Partey playing better as well. If we could say get Partey, Basuma playing, and then a quality midfield player, I think we could get away with what we've got up front for a year. Say if we did get Grealish, I know I'm bringing that one up all the time, but just say if we did, alongside we've got Pepe, we've still got Saka, we've got Smith Rowe. I think we could get away with those 2 up front for one more season. Yeah, and I would actually say to Lacazette, sign an extra year's contract so that the following season you could be sold, or and if you weren't to sell it, if he wasn't to sign that contract, then I would let it run down.
Yeah, I usually say Aubameyang, Lacazette, and Leno are not our main issues. Obviously, you can improve on Leno, but I don't think that's our main issue.
No.
There are players in that team, like 6 or 7 players who don't deserve to be there. Chambers has been great. He should not be at Arsenal in 2021. El Neni is another one. Bellerin is another one. So many other players who shouldn't be at Arsenal. Kolasinac and Mustafi overstayed their welcome as well. So I think we have other positions to sort of, and I definitely agree with you.
I think with Chambers, which is a good thing, is that he's played for quite well for us for 5, 6, 7, 8 games now. So if we were to sell, we could get some money for him now. Do you know what I mean? Like where people would have probably been doubting that about 6-7 weeks ago. But all of a sudden, he's been put in a shop window. Now, whether he actually does go or not, I would say that if we got another right back, he could be a good backup for us. But ultimately, we could get some money for him as well. So I think it's been a win-win, that situation for us.
Yeah, definitely. Let's see another question. Someone, hi Arsenal Alex, he asks, will you be at the protest on Sunday? And I'll add a question to that. Do you think it will make any difference?
Well, I don't know if it make any difference, if I'll be honest. I think that, you know, we'll see what the fact of the matter is that they're not going to sell. So I think it's whether they're going to, and I think the protest is important to just remind them that what they've got to do. But, you know, I don't think it's really been the Kroenkes' problem about putting money in there. I think they've spent money. It's the way they've just mismanaged it. They've not had the right people doing the right jobs. Like, they don't really care about it. So that's what I want to see. I want to see someone like who, if it is the son or someone taking control and being at games all the time, overseeing things. You know, it's like if you're a man, if you was at work or even when you're playing, when I was playing football, if the manager weren't there, you'd muck about a little bit more. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, as soon as the manager walked on, the intensity of the training would go up. And this is what, even at high level, so make sure that there's somebody there overseeing what's going on and making sure that the decisions that we do are the right decisions, you know, and not just, oh, well, don't matter. You know, making everything more accountable. But I think that the protest would be good to keep reminding the board that, you know, to do their jobs properly, the owners and etc. And am I going to go to it? Yeah, I'll be there. Like, yeah.
That's the one thing I always say. I don't care even if he gives 1 billion this summer transfer window. I want someone who cares. Usually, the other day when Leicester won that trophy, people are like, it's emotional to see the owner down there with the players. I was actually jealously, I don't know about you, seeing them, the owner of the team hugging the players, hugging the manager. I'm jealous. I don't know if our manager, even our owner, even knows we actually won an FA Cup last season. That's the main issue with me.
No, he probably, well, you know, when he went to the FA Cup, he's probably like at home going, oh, do I have to go? Do I have to go? Oh, I've got to go. Oh, I've got to go over to England next week. You know what I mean? Like that sort of attitude where I want him, I want to be there, you know, and, you know, as much as people criticise Abramovich and for whatever reason he's put his money where his mouth is, he's spent a lot of money. He's always there when he was allowed to. He was always at the games, home and away. That's what you want. That's a proper owner. That's what you want.
Yeah, proper owner. Ron Keith, sorry, says we need to keep Willock and Guendouzi. Which one would you keep between those two, if you had the choice, or which one would you sell? Would you keep both?
Depending on what, I think we might have to sacrifice both to get what we want.
Both, okay. How much can we get for Willock, though?
I think we've got to look for 25-30 million.
That's because of the goals he scored?
Pardon?
Is that because of the goals he scored? Or
I think at the end of the day, if he hadn't gone on that loan, we'd have probably got 15 million for him. But he's done really well at Newcastle. Newcastle, I think, is suited him. Different pressure playing for Newcastle to there is Arsenal. And I think that you know, if he wants to go, I would cash in on him. Yeah, I would.
I actually don't think Willock would want to go. I think he'd want to come back because he's an Arsenal fan, definitely.
Yeah, you know, but ultimately we need to. It depends who they bring in. You know what I mean? Like Guendouzi is another one. I'm a big fan of Guendouzi. I thought he's a good player, very, very good player. But ultimately, for me, again, if you're going to bring in a Basuma or someone like that, then, you know, I would cash in him as well. You know, I would cash on all these players to get somebody like Grealish, you know what I mean, or someone of that ability. Some big, you need a big signing.
Absolutely. And Yourself, I can see you're a very good midfielder there, hanging out with Granit Xhaka. You obviously have some talent. How much salary do you ask for us to sign you? And can you do the job alongside Thomas Partey?
Oh, I don't know, like, you know what I mean. So I think me and Granit would make a good team. We make a good team. Like he'd do all my dirty work, like, you know. So I think there's another one that probably could go, Granit, if he's not prepared to sign a new contract.
Yeah, I mean, there are like 7, 8 players we need to get rid of. Our goalkeepers as well. Ranason was a terrible buy.
Right,
Ryan, we've not signed him.
Got to go. I would. I would. I'd keep Ryan. I like him. Whether he'll stay as a backup, I don't know, but I would like to keep him. If I'll be honest, that is one player that I would keep. As I say, I would keep Granit Xhaka for another season. I would, but you know, he's got 2 years left of his contract. If he is going to say he's not going to sign a new contract, then, you know, we need to get funds. So I would say thank you, Granit, and move him on as well. So, but if he says that he wants to stay and maybe sign an extra year or two, I would do. But ultimately, we need to improve in that area as well. Granit is probably been the best midfield player at Arsenal this season. And that's not a compliment.
Yep. Last question from the chat, and then we end it. GGTV asks, question for Lee. Basically, it's 3 questions in one, but you just keep it short.
Right.
Aaron Zolamti, Awar Obuendia, Diawara, or Bissouma?
Oh, that's a good one, right? You know.
12 on the first one, definitely not Lamptey. I always say definitely not Lamptey. Injured for 7 months. He can't play in the back four. I think he's too short.
I'm going to go Max Aarons, if I'll be honest. I think I quite like him. Had a year in the Championship.
Yeah.
That toughens you up. The same with Badira, like you could say that with him as well. But Awar looks like a player that Arsenal went for a long time. You know, all summer last season. I would go Awar. And Bissouma, definitely Bissouma. I think that is. I think that he's what we require.
Yeah, the thing with Lamptey, I always feel like he can't play in a back four. I think he's too short and too weak to play in a back four and too injury prone. We've got so many injury prone players as well at Arsenal. Another thing we need to get rid of. The likes of Bellerin, Cedric, all injury prone.
Powerful. Which I think, you know, when you look at it like yesterday, in that game yesterday, Chambers come in there, big, strong, and done a job, you know. So we weren't bullied so much, you know what I mean? Like, actually, when crosses were going in and all that, apart from the stupid free kick, but corners and all that, we look better for, like, you know. So yeah, I'm with you on that, like, you know, big, strong, not saying like 6 foot or whatever, but, you know, powerful. We want a powerful right back, someone that can do what Chambers does, but also can get up and down as well, like, you know. So that's important.
Awesome, man. Thank you very much for coming on.
No problems whatsoever. Like, enjoyed it.
I can't wait for this season to end. It's been a long season for all of us. Thank you for all the comments in the chat. Our final game is on Sunday against Brighton. We should win, but I think we've beaten Brighton only once since they were promoted back in the Premier League. So that isn't a good thing. What's your prediction for that?
I'm going to go. Oh, what am I going to go? 2-1.
2-1 to Arsenal. I think on the final day.
Danny Welbeck's out as well, when he, so 2-0 to the Arsenal.
Yeah, Mope's out as well. So I'm going to go for
Danny Welbeck injured, 2-0 to the Arsenal.
Awesome, and keep up the good work you've been doing on Same Old Arsenal, AFTV, and all that. Thank you for coming on. Another appearance, first live we've done with Lee. I really appreciate it. Thank you for all the comments in the chat. Let's hope we win our game on the weekend. See you guys, not next season, but yeah, for the games and all that, that will be next season. I hope we have a good transfer window. Thank you for watching. Keep staying safe, and I'll catch up with you guys later.